What is good, ladies and gentlemen? I hope you're doing well. We're going to look at Bitcoin, recent capitulation, what's occurred in the markets, and why I still think we are headed down to the 200-week moving average. We're also going to look at the horizontal flat correction that we've seen in the market, as well as why I think this is still a great time to actually start building a long-term cryptocurrency portfolio, looking at some historical data and all of the previous bull markets that we've uncovered. So a lot of my recent followers may be aware of this, but I just wanted to put another video out there, do another weekly update of what is happening in the markets at the moment. So we can see Bitcoin sitting at $29,000, Ethereum plummets back down below $2,000. So this is what's going on at the moment with Bitcoin on the weekly time frame. We can see the RSI is matching March 2020, where we had the COVID FUD. Again, we've got the same level of RSI. We haven't had this in 2 years, following the Terra Luna FUD. And one thing to look at is actually the whole bull market was just one massive bearish divergence all up until November 2021. That's where we saw the bearish divergence truly play out, where we lost that all-time high. And now we've seen capitulation and rejection on the 200-day moving average, followed by rejection on the bull market support band. And we've basically printed not one, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weekly red candles in a row. So the sentiment is very much bearish. We've had 2 entire months of downtrend and absolute chaos in the crypto markets. As you see, we're putting through constant lower highs and lower lows at the same time. So what can effectively happen for Bitcoin at this point? Well, I think at best, what could happen if we do get a bounce from this particular level is we may revisit, after we kind of held scout this way, a bit of a roller coaster, we might revisit around the 40k price level before just seeing continuation to the downside. And this could be a big relief bounce and ideally an opportunity to get out if you did get in at the top and you can no longer afford to hold the risk through this bull market. If you did buy altcoins and you also wanted to move out of those or move them into stable assets or even fiat, personally, I'd rather accumulate Bitcoin. Then it could be a good time to actually convert some altcoins into other stables and blue chip currencies. Not financial advice, of course, but altcoins are extremely risky at current time, though they do offer the biggest rewards when holding long term for the projects that do stay. So I do think, of course, Bitcoin is going to come down to this 200-week moving average, which is this particular purple line here. We saw it happen in 2018 after the bull market. We saw it also happen in 2020 March, where we had the COVID crash. So I am anticipating some sort of continuation to the downside, that eventually we will be back between $22,000 and $27,000. I think it is pretty much inevitable at this point. But we can still get these bounces to the upside before it actually happens. So it could be much later on this year before we take off again. And I think when we do take off again, that's when we'll be putting through the next all-time highs, not on this side of the year, maybe not even in 2023. I think we need to really look much further ahead at 2024 onwards. This will be our new supply and accumulation phase, at least around $14,000 would be probably the lowest wick we'll ever see. Should we come down 14 to 18k, and it will be a massive capitulation wick, lots of buy orders down that particular level. So yeah, Bitcoin is looking very, very bearish, of course, for the next few weeks and months, but in the long term it looks extremely bullish. And why do I think that? Well, if we look at the BLX and we look at every single chart so far, if you bought the market cycle top at any given time frame from any market cycle, you only have to wait usually between 600 and 1,200 days in order to make your money back. This was 1,300. This one was about 1,096 days. Currently, from the market cycle top, which I suppose would be here, if we assumed 1,000 days again, we'd be looking around the 1st of September 2024 before we start seeing Bitcoin really get into more euphoric and greed phases all over again. We can even see the 200-week moving average playing out on this particular time frame and very nicely demonstrating and reflecting a great potential undervaluation reaccumulation opportunity in the market. So I think that's where we're headed. 63% correction for this market cycle. This is the 2017 market cycle. We saw an 84% correction. So there's also something to consider. Another thing I want to show you is the expanded flat Elliott wave rule. So this is what's effectively happened, in my opinion. We had the bearish divergence play out over this swing high, the swing low, this swing high. And on this A wave, we've seen that lower low come through now. And I think we're forming or trying to form this, basically the wave B. And then after this, we're going to see capitulation to the downside, followed by another bull market at an unknown date. So the three-wave corrective phase has rules that govern its shape. They are listed here. Corrective waves can head up or down. The correction phase aligns against the trend of one higher degree, a counter trend move. Wave B terminates beyond the start of wave A. Wave C terminates beyond the end of wave A. So I do think this is likely to play out. This chart shows the same expanded flat 335 corrective wave, but in a bear market, also called an inverted expanded flat. Waves A and B are 3s and wave C is a 5. Wave B ends beyond where wave A starts. So I do think this is something that is quite pragmatic to look at. I'm not going to be looking for all-time highs at this point of time. It's all about how can we prepare for the next bear market and actually accumulate the best projects in time before everyone is speaking about them, because this is where we can load up some lower cost crypto in hopes to sell at a much higher price, maybe in 3 or 4 years time. What's happening at the moment with the S&P 500 as well? If we take a little look at what's going on, you can see crypto is very much following and has strong correlation to this chart. S&P 500 has already moved down a fair amount. If we actually have a look over here, it's looking quite deleterious at the moment, as we see. Correct down here, been a 20% correct. Crypto has seen a much larger and more volatile correction, but with that in mind, we can still bounce back very, very much stronger. Total market cap at the moment to do, well, this is something I think is very, very important because we're holding the line fairly at $600 billion market cap, excluding Bitcoin, but we did lose this particular, rising channel. We lost the support, and it looks like a bear flag. So we could see more liquidations for the altcoin side of things. If we do, I expect to see us come down to about 600 billion once again, maybe an $82 billion liquidation or withdrawal from the altcoin market. Of course, this is a very, very key area that we need to hold. So with that in mind, if we flip back into Bitcoin and have a look at the 1 hour time frame, again, we've got this extremely tight range, as you see right here. So if we come back down to 28.7k, we'll be retesting a very critical support level. If we lose that support, we could easily come back down to 27.5 and maybe even revisit these $25,000 levels. Do keep an eye out on these levels. They are extremely vital, and I think it will show strong trajectory of what's going to happen in the market in recent days and weeks to come. So this is the S&P 500. Again, we understand this is extremely bearish, and I want to now share with you a bit of news which is quite, I suppose, bearish as well, because this makes crypto seem like it could effectively be a scam. In conjunction with the Terra Luna FUD, again, you're going to have normal people, retailers, your hairdresser, coffee shop owner, talking about how they may have lost a lot of money in crypto, which is going to deter and obviously make this seem like a very unattractive asset class. Coinbase bankruptcy risk. Time to use DeFi swap by DeFi coin. I mean, of course, using decentralized exchanges is a fantastic one. DeFi swap is actually a fantastic coin as well. Coinbase bankruptcy, cryptocurrency meltdown, looking for the right and safe place to trade and look no further. This answer is hiding in plain sight. So this guy is recommending DeFi coin, which is actually a coin we've looked on this particular channel. DeFi swap, which is a good hedge against bear markets. Is the Coinbase premium worth the bankruptcy risk? Coinbase has basically got a great reputation, good security, FCA, SISEC accredited, and I think, it is a very, very good centralized exchange, and it has stood the test of time. But of course, they have admitted one thing which is extremely concerning to its holders, especially if you're holding on the exchange, of course. Coinbase admits customers' assets could be seized by creditors. You look here, you can see an actual description of what's happened. Those comforting notions were put to the sword after Coinbase announced poor results, followed by filing in line with a new reporting requirement for publicly listed crypto firms. According to the FT, the filing stated that customer assets could be subject to bankruptcy proceedings, and such customers could be treated as our general unsecured creditors. So that's extremely bad. Not your keys, not your crypto all over again, guys. After Luna and UST, will Tether stablecoin be next to fail? So we also have this incredible FUD at the moment, because if you look at what happened with USDT, Tether stablecoin one-to-one peg was actually lost against the dollar. Of course, UST was an absolute disaster. If this happens to Tether, then the whole entire crypto bubble could pop, just like the dot-com bubble. Analysts also note parallels with March 2020. Will this time be different? So it is very, very interesting to see how similar March 2020 and, of course, May 2022 are in terms of the relative strength index, the fear and greed index as well. They are very similar. Each has basically carried a very, very negative connotation. I think with the COVID 2020 crash, it was very much more about mass fear. People just didn't know what to do. But I think what's happened now is much more damaging to the whole blockchain environment and all of these projects that have put so much real time and effort in to growing their own assets. They're actually suffering because of Terra Luna at the moment. So yeah, I think extremely interesting what could happen here. As we see, fear and greed index plunged to 8 on Tuesday, which is the lowest since March 2020. That is not good to see at all. So hopefully we do get some sort of bounce in the market rather soon, because we need some good news. We need a relief rally for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Crypto giants co-launched China Abuse platform to walk down rising scams. So of course, when all of these relief campaigns come out, we see Terra Luna getting absolutely obliterated by the news. Lots of people do jump in and try and help those that are actually suffering and offer compensation. Of course, a lot of this is scams, Telegram groups, etc., Reddit, Discords, all very fishy. So just be aware of that. There are lots of scams out there, and there are people that are trying to fish your information. Of course, it's good to see major cryptocurrencies, companies actually trying to remove this kind of sensitive, edgy area, which shouldn't really be here anyway. So it's going to be nice to see the reduction of scams, and therefore the trust and integrity will come back into the market slowly. I hope you did enjoy this video, guys. It's about a wrap for now. As we can see, market is still looking very, very bearish, and I think it's going to be the sentiment for quite a while now. So start loading up on your favorite altcoins. If you do want to do that, you can use the link at the top of my description. And if you're new here, just give the channel a little subscribe, a like, and a comment down below. I'll see you soon, guys. Bye now.